Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. Today's project is this bespoke box using the Nothing's Better stamp set and the Love You More Than dies. This one cuts out the Love You More Than, and then these dies cut out coffee, cookies, cocktails and chocolate, and this one cuts out the cookie, the cocktail, the coffee cup and the chocolate. This box has actually got a belly band to it, so it's separate. It's almost like a pizza box. It opens up and it's got an integral lid, and then that holds 4 Malteser chocolates. I'm going to show you how to make it. To die cut the labels, I've used the Stitch So Sweetly dies, which you can find on page 179 of the annual catalogue. This was bundled with a stamp set called So Sentimental from the mini, I think, and it's carried over into the annual catalogue. So these dies actually coordinate with this stamp set, and that can be found on page 74. The dies we're using are the 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth, is it the fourth? No, that's the fourth. The fourth and third largest ones. So I'll set that aside until we need it later. And from the Love You More Than dies, we'll need the one that cuts the chocolate, so I'll set that aside as well. Inks we're using are Versamark and Early Espresso, gold embossing powder, embossing buddy, which is now since retired, and a heat tool. The other item I need is this lovely sheer 3/8 inch ribbon. I think it comes from the Poinsettia suite, which you'll find on pages 14 to 16 in the August to December mini. A 1-inch circle patch, this is retired, and red rhinestone basic jewels. Scraps of Early Espresso, some spare crumb cake cardstock to die cut the larger of the scalloped labels, one in crumb cake and one in real red, which I've already done. For your box base, you need a piece of crumb cake cut at 10 inches by 6 inches. In metric, that's 25.4 by 15.2 centimeters. Bring in my scoreboard and butt the long edge up against the top here, and using the thinner end of the stylus, you score at 1 inch, 4 inches, 5 inches, 8 inches and 9 inches. Rotate your cardstock clockwise, butt it up against that top of the scoreboard, and you score at 1 inch and 5 inches. For the belly band, you need by an A4 length, which is roughly 11 3/4 inches long. Now we can burnish the score lines. Orient your cardstock in the landscape position so the long side is facing you, and you just want to cut on all these 1-inch score lines up to that first score line. So cut straight up. Okay, do the same for the opposite end. So now your double score lines, the 2 1-inch score lines, will be on your right. So again, you cut up to that first score line. Now orient your paper so that the 2 1-inch score lines are at the bottom, and then you want to take away this corner on the first score line. So now your paper will look like this. Next, mitre the corners on the tabs and do the same for the opposite side. You also want to mitre the corners on this tab at the bottom. Apply adhesive on that section. Hold it there for a while until it bonds. This is going to form your lid, and you want to glue these two center tabs to the tab at the top, like that. Okay? So that makes your integral lid. And this will be your box base. This has a double layer to reinforce the finger hold here. And you want glue on the inside tab here. Hold that for a minute until it bonds. Glue on this tab. Bring the side up and just hold it until it bonds. You can use tear and tape or the stamp and seal adhesives. I'm going to use tear and tape, and you don't want to put the tear and tape right on the score line. Just have it coming out a little bit in case you need to make an adjustment when you close the lid. So the best way to do it is to shut your box, lift these flaps up like so, remove the tape, make sure that's straight, then you can bring the side down and do the same with this side. Tuck it in. I forgot to do something. I should have done this first. So punch out your finger hole before you do that. So bring that down, fold it over, then you can do this one. And the reason why you do this last is because you have to allow for that just fraction of an inch for the lid being a little bit bigger than the bottom of the box. See why you don't want to put tape right to the side here? Because sometimes you have to make an allowance to adjust the size of the lid. And if there's anything sticking out from the back, you can just trim it off to make it nice and neat. Let's do the belly band. So I offer my belly band up to the end and fold it over, around, back, up toward the top and round the front again. Snip off the excess. Now I can reinforce the crease lines. Bring in some scratch paper and a foam mat. And we need to do a bit of stamping. My early espresso ink and stamped chocolate, followed by today is a chocolate kind of day. Center it over there. And I can go and die cut that through my die cutting machine. I'll do that off camera. The other bit of stamping I need to do is my chocolates. So the embossing buddy over the early espresso cardstock, then ink up the chocolate. Sprinkle gold embossing powder over it. I've got several jars in this box, and it's just easier to pour it back in when I'm using it. And then die cut that off camera as well. So I'll be back. We want to put this together. Get a bit of glue and just glue it on the bottom here so it won't show. And remember, you don't want it too tight. I'm going to run a tiny bit of adhesive on the back here so that I've got room to put my ribbon round. A tiny bit of adhesive here as well. Bring it round to the front. Now this will be underneath the label so you won't see it. So I'm going to put some glue on the bottom, tap that in so that it's even Stevens on the box. And I'm going to be a little bit more careful with the one on top. I want to make sure all the edges are covered. So applied adhesive on there. And marry the labels up. Remove the label so I can get my hands underneath it. Straighten the ribbon. Put dimensionals on the back. Grab a couple of rhinestones and put some here. Pop a dimensional on the back of my chocolate. And last thing to do is tie a little bow. Trim off the end, attach the bow with a glue dot and then stick that on top there, and voila, it's finished. I'll open that up. So I hope you've enjoyed today's little project. All the supplies are listed below this video in the Show More section. You can also read more about it over on my blog. The link is all below. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll be back soon with another project. Thanks for watching. Bye!